When you look up at the night sky, it seems so silent, so empty, right? But what if I told you that vast emptiness has a smell? Or that it can literally make you taller? The universe is just packed with these facts that completely flip what we think of as normal. So let's dive into 10 of them that are going to absolutely blow your mind.
Yeah, it's a classic line for a reason. Because out there, in all that star-dusted darkness, the basic rules we live by, they just don't apply. And that's not just true for planets and stars. It's true for us, too.
So for our first section, let's bring this cosmic scale down to a personal level. What does space actually do to the human body? Well, let me tell you. The answers are way stranger than you'd ever guess.
I want you to picture the biggest, loudest explosion you can possibly think of. Like a star going supernova or two entire galaxies crashing into each other. Well, in space, all of that, it happens without a single peep. It is a completely silent cosmic light show.
And the physics behind this is actually pretty simple. See, sound is just a vibration, and it needs stuff to travel through, like air or water or a solid wall. But space? It's pretty much a perfect vacuum. There's nothing for the sound waves to vibrate, so no medium, no sound. It's really as simple and as profound as that.
Okay, so you can't hear anything, but apparently you can smell space. No joke, astronauts coming back from a spacewalk say this really distinct smell clings to their suits, and they describe it as a mix of, get this, burnt steak, hot metal, and welding fumes. Scientists think it's caused by these things called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, basically molecules from dying stars that are just floating around out there.
And space doesn't just mess with your senses, it literally stretches you out. Here on Earth, gravity is pushing down on us all the time, compressing our spines. But up in space, without that constant pressure, the vertebrae can just relax and expand. This makes astronauts grow up to 2 inches taller. It's a temporary growth spurt you can only get in 0G.
Now, you don't even have to go to some distant galaxy to find things that just defy all logic. Some of the weirdest stuff in the universe is happening right here, in our own solar system, on planets we've known about forever.
Take a look at this number, 243. That is how many Earth days it takes for the planet Venus to spin around just one time. A single day on Venus lasts for months and months.
But here's where it gets really, really weird. It only takes Venus 225 Earth days to go all the way around the Sun. Yeah, you heard that right. A day on Venus is longer than its entire year. Can you imagine celebrating your birthday twice in the same day?
It sounds like a totally ridiculous question, doesn't it? I mean, a planet is pretty much the definition of heavy. But what if I told you there's a planet in our solar system that could actually do it?
This one just goes to show how bizarre planets can be. Saturn, the second biggest planet in our solar system, is a gas giant. It's mostly made of hydrogen and helium. Because of that, its overall density is actually less than water. So yeah, if you could somehow find a bathtub big enough to hold it, the ring giant would float just like a rubber duck.
All right, let's zoom out from our little neighborhood and take a look at the real heavyweights of the universe. We're talking about objects so extreme, so dense, and so massive that they push the very limits of physics as we know it.
6 billion tons. That is what a single teaspoon of stuff from a neutron star would weigh. These things are the collapsed cores of massive stars, and they are so dense it's almost impossible to even imagine.
And hey, to put that number in perspective for you, that one little teaspoon of neutron star weighs about 6 billion tons. The entire human population, all 8 billion of us, weighs about 316 million tons. That means one tiny spoonful outweighs all of humanity, nearly 20 times over.
So we've gone from the incredibly dense to the incredibly vast. Astronomers have found a colossal cloud of water vapor just floating in space, about 12 billion light-years away. It is the largest reservoir of water ever discovered, holding about 140 trillion times the amount of water in all of Earth's oceans combined.
We usually think of black holes as these silent, cosmic vacuum cleaners, right? But in a way, they sing. As they bend and warp space-time, they create these gravitational waves, actual ripples in the fabric of the universe. And while you can't hear them, scientists can convert their frequencies into something we can hear, and it creates this incredibly eerie, haunting space music.
For our last section, we're diving into the great unknowns.
These are the phenomena that are still a deep mystery to us, reminding us that for every single thing we figure out, there's a whole universe of questions just waiting to be answered.
You know, we think of planets as being attached to a star, but some of them aren't. They're called rogue planets, and they are basically cosmic wanderers that got kicked out of their original solar systems. They just drift through the cold, dark space between stars, completely alone. We have no idea how many are out there, but it could be billions, just in our galaxy.
Okay, this one might be the hardest to wrap your head around. We're always taught that nothing can go faster than light. And that's true for things moving through space, but that rule doesn't apply to the expansion of space itself. The fabric of the universe is stretching, and it's carrying galaxies along for the ride. And way out in the distant cosmos, that stretching is happening faster than the speed of light.
So, what does all this tell us? It shows that our everyday Earth-based ideas of how things work, that's just a tiny piece of a much bigger, much weirder reality. From silent explosions and planets that float to days that are longer than years, the cosmos is constantly showing us just how much we still have left to learn.
In the end, every answer we find just seems to open up a dozen new questions. And honestly, that's the most exciting part. So I'll leave you with this. Which one of these facts really got you? The complete silence? The smell of burnt steak? Or a planet that could float in a bathtub? The universe is out there, just waiting for us to keep asking.